Okay, now we're gonna do. Let's have some fun. Let's do another example of how we could maybe animate this ball. So I've done a save as. You can see that I've done a new index. So I called my scene Brad McLeod Ball 08. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab all of my move keyframes, or I'm going to collapse. I'm going to make sure to collapse my ball up to the move peg, and I can just grab all of my keyframes on the move peg 1, and I can say F7 to erase those keyframes. And you can also see that the squash and stretch frames are gone too. Okay. And I'll do the same for my ball, my ground shadow move peg. I'll make sure that it's collapsed. Okay. So that I'm deleting all the keyframes below the hierarchy. So I'll grab all of those and say F7. And there we are. Okay. Very good. So I do have a timing chart over here, and I'll just grab the chart layer and I'll delete those frames because I don't need that, and also my animation frames because I don't need them. Okay, so all I'm left with is my background art. We'll keep our name there. And maybe actually I'll move my name down here just to keep things organized. Okay, so let's animate another ball. So I can grab my ball master peg and say Shift T, and again I'll just move my ball maybe somewhere over here. Okay, because I want the ball, I want to make my ball a bit smaller for this. And the reason being, I want to have, sorry, did a little bit of a backtrack. I want to have a little more of a, so I'll have it come down, and I'm just going to imagine an arc in my head. I'm not gonna get crazy with. So I'll have the ball come down and land like this. That's frame 2. Okay. And frame 3. Open. Open. Sorry, I'm being really slow. Placement of these keys is kind of crucial. So 1, 2. I need enough room because I need to do 5 bounces. Remember, 5 bounces. Okay. Okay, so I'll have 1. My second bounce will be about here. Okay, and then that parabola, you know, it'll. So my first bounce, and then I'm going to have my second bounce will be something like this. So I want the ball to have some kind of like a, for the second bounce it's going to not quite be halfway high, but just a little bit lower than halfway. Okay, so have the ball, and then okay, and I want to make sure I'm watching my volumes, but also I think I'm only going to have the ball squash here. I'm not going to have it squash on the second one because I want to have more impact and texture within my scene by having the one squash, the extreme squash, be here, and then the other ones we won't have a real extreme squash. So Ball's coming down, boom, boom, second. Okay, and then I'll have it, and I'm just incrementally decreasing the length between five, and then we'll have the ball sort of hit the wall here. Okay, just watch my volumes, make sure my volumes are, so we'll have the ball hit there and then come, so arc, so maybe it hits here. I feel like it might be, so this drawing and this drawing, I actually want these to be a bit closer together. Volumes are a little inconsistent, but they're not crazy out of whack. Okay. And this drawing, maybe I'll just put it because we're getting to about a constant speed here, and I just want to have, I just want to show the ball have a little bounce in its step before it just scoots away and comes to a stop. Oop, I didn't mean to render that. Anyway. So, and then could have one drawing like somewhere over here or something. I may need to adjust things a little bit later. Okay, so, alright. I don't need all of these frames, I just need from here to here. Okay, so let's time this out. I have my storytelling keys, so I'm going to take these drawings and I'll have the first drawing hit on frame 9. Okay. Oh, and this drawing, I'll leave this drawing here. Yeah, so that's there. In fact, I'm just going to move this drawing over here. I'll just keep everything together. Okay. So this drawing, I'm probably going to only have, like, I'm going to have a couple in betweens. So I'm going to say I want 3 frames in between there and 3 frames in between here. Probably, yep, 3 frames. Because I'm thinking I'm only going to have probably 1 breakdown probably one breakdown, you know, one in between and maybe one in between here, just to get a proper velocity. I don't know. I'm just, at this point, we're just kind of winging it. This between here and here, yeah, probably be one in between, so 3 frames here. Okay. And I'm not going to have any in-betweens here. So I'm just going to scoot these over 1 frame. Yeah, none of these are going to have in-betweens. I know that. I know that these will not have in-betweens. They will have in-betweens in the sense that they're going to be on 1s. But the action is going to be happening so fast that yeah, so and then this last frame. This last frame is going to be way down here. Okay. So let's just play this and see how it feels. I'm going to set my end frame to frame 55 or something, or 60. Okay, let's just play that. So here we go. Probably want more time for my ball to come to a stop, so boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that feels about right. And might even give the ball a little more time to stop, because it's, you know, I don't want there to be an invisible wall, so do. Yeah, that feels maybe a little bit better. So I'm actually liking this. So ball comes down, contact, boom, hits the wall, bounces, and then we take a nice amount of time to stop our ball. So I like that. Okay, so let's go in now and let's start drawing out our timing charts. So 1, and then we're going to frame 9 for this first in-between chart, timing chart, spacing chart, whatever you want to call it. So I am going to in-between on, I'm going to place my breakdown actually on thirds, because I want there to be like a nice snap between I want there to be a nice, like, I really want to feel that weight. So I'm actually going to put my first breakdown about here. Okay. And that's really going to, so this is on thirds, it's not on halves, so I'm going to put my first breakdown there. So on my animation layer, turn my brush to a 1. And again, I'm going to in-between this on thirds, so it'll be about here. So I'll place my drawing about here, like that. So, right. And if we play that, we'll see. Yeah, I like that. So it's gonna, that's gonna create a real sense of weight. Okay, so, and then I'll have one more, I would have like maybe one more in between. you know, here, but I'm gonna put this. In fact, what I can do is I can actually place an in-between on thirds to create even more snap. I'm gonna have a drawing here in the middle. Okay. And then I'm gonna have a drawing here and then here. Okay, so I've changed the spacing of things, and I'm using mostly thirds, right? And you can just like that. So this is really going to create like a really snappy effect. So 7 is going to be here. 7 is going to be here, but my breakdown is 5. Oh man, it's really annoying. 5 is my breakdown. And then 3 is here. So sorry, I actually don't have a drawing there. Okay. And then I'll actually have I'll put like an in-between on 1s. In between 7, but it's not technically as not an in-between. I'm just going to be smoothing out the texture. So the way that works is here's my breakdown 5. Okay, I'll have an in-between on thirds again, which is 3. So 5, my first third, 3, and then 1, and then 7 is going to be a straight in between, and that'll be here. And like I could even start to stretch my ball a little bit, do a little bit of a stretchy. I'll change this to 1. Just like that. So, right? So it really creates, so you see that? You know, really creates a nice sense of weight. My volumes aren't crazy perfect here, but probably sculpt it out a little bit more. This. Yeah, just like that. Teardrop shape like that. Okay, so that's like that. So, here. Okay. And I'm going to have one breakdown here. So, okay, so we're on our next key. Let's draw our next timing chart. So I'll change my brush size to 5 or 10. Was it? Yeah, it was 10. So my next chart will be here. And this chart is not going to be too complicated because we're just going to have from frame 9 to frame 13, I believe. Yep, from frame 9 to 13. I'm just going to have a drawing on thirds. I'm going to use thirds again, okay, because I want to favor 13 with my spacing, just like that. So 11 is going to be here, so that'll be my breakdown, and then I might have one drawing in between those two to smooth out the texture. Okay, so again, where am I? So I got my brush tool, and I'm on my animation layer. So I'm going to have a drawing on thirds here. just use thirds spacing. Get that arc looking right. So this is about a third. Okay, so yeah, I like that. And same here on my chart. I use a same chart here. Okay, so here I'm going to have 13 to 17. And I want to favor other side now with 15. Okay. So so from here to here, I'm gonna favor the other side. On thirds. It's about like this. Like that, so yeah, I really like that. That giving me a really nice sense of weight. I'm loving that. So you see with the power of thirds, like if you know how to animate on, if you know how to in between on thirds, put your Blake, that's all, folks. If you know how to put your, I don't know, English is sometimes it's hard for me. If you know how to put your breakdowns on thirds, and you know how to use thirds like wisely, it can really create a nice sense of timing, and so not timing, weight and performance. So here again, same thing on my key here. So I'll put my I don't want to have that parented under that. So we're there. Next timing chart. Okay. And this will be 17 to 21. And I'm going to do the same thing. Favor into 21 with a breakdown on frame 19. Okay. And I'm just going to draw out these charts because they are essentially going to be the same. I know that I'm only going to have one breakdown and then a drawing in between that. Okay, so 21 to 25. With 23 as my breakdown. Okay, and then these don't have any in-betweens, so I don't need to put a chart there, but here I'm just going to do a gradual ease out. So my chart from here to here is going to be a lot of drawings between here and here, and I'm just going to be doing so this is frame 35 to 68, so I don't even know if I'm on 2s. I'm going to check if I'm on 2s. So Okay, so technically this frame should be here. So again, I'm just checking that I'm on every 2 frames, so that'll be fine. Okay, so 35 to 67. $35, $67. Okay, and I'm going to be in betweening on halves. So it's going to be cushioning. It's going to be a gradual cushion from 35 to 67. So that's roughly half. So half, 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 half. Well, you get the picture. There's going to be a lot of in-betweens. Okay, so hairline in-betweens. So we're going to be cushioning out all the way. So got this, but we've got it looking really good. Okay. The thing that I want to watch for is the ball's rate of speed that it's traveling. So that's the important thing. Okay, and it's traveling at a like that's fairly realistic, you know, because the ball's it's not going to be slowing down that much. You know, if it's got the bounce that it does, it's not going to be slowing down that much as it travels until it just sort of, you know, so it's coming across and doing its thing. Okay. Alright, we're going to stop the video here. In the next video, we will use our rig. Ta-ta. Okay, we're back, and now we are going to use our rig to animate our new bouncing ball. So you'll see here that I did add my last breakdowns. So there was a breakdown that I was missing in between frame 17 and frame 21, and a breakdown I was missing between that and between frame 21 and frame 25. So I added my frame 23 breakdown and my frame 19 breakdown, and so I've got this now. Is now my performance. Okay, so we're ready to carry on. And what we'll do is we're going to grab our ball master peg. Okay, and we're gonna get after it. And what I'll do is a save as, so I'll say save scene as, and call this ball 09. And going to, you know, pressing Shift T on my ball master, I'll reposition my ball and scale it maybe just a little bit just to get it to the right volume. I think that's about right. Okay. And then we'll start animating. So I'm going to go to my collapsed move peg. Remember to be collapsed on that move peg so that we're keying everything, both on our squash and stretch peg and our move peg. So I'll go to my first frame and say F6. Okay. And then what I can do is go to my key and place my ball here, and then go to my squash and stretch peg, squash my ball. That, okay, and then go here, say F6. So it probably already keyed it, but I'm just making sure that that's keyed. And then I'll come to frame 5, and I can set a keyframe there and then move my ball to frame 5. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So my breakdown key, okay, and then where's my next key? My next key is going to be here. So I'll set a keyframe hitting F6, make sure I'm on my move peg layer, on my move peg frame, F6, and I'll move the ball up here. I'll go to my squash and stretch peg here, and under control and coordinate control points, I'll just set my scale to 1. Okay. And then using my move peg again, I can grab it from here. I'll just position the ball properly. That. And just checking that I'm keying everything. So yes, everything is being keyed properly. I'll just do a save. I'll say Control S. I can save over, that's fine. Go to my next key. So now for these keys, we're not going to be doing much squashing and stretching, because again, the ball okay, and I can just F6 move. Watch that spacing. Okay. And here's my next key. So F6 here. Right, because that parabola is kind of being interrupted by the wall. And my next key is here. Right, things are moving quite quickly now, so we're having keys. We're now just really, we're on 2s now. Setting keyframes F6 and just a little bit of bounce, a little bit of hang time, just a smidgen of hang time. Just like this. Okay. And then we're all the way over here. For our last key, I'll set a frame there. Place the ball here. Okay. Alright. So we've set our keys and our breakdowns. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, alright. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Okay. Now let's put in our breakdowns. So we have one breakdown here. That's going to be an in-between, so that's not a breakdown. So we're going to do our second pass. So just like when we're drawing, we're going to do our second pass. We're going to place in our breakdowns. So we have a breakdown here on frame 11. So I will come to my collapsed move peg and I'll say F6. We'll set a key there, and I'll move my ball into place and then set my squash and stretch peg back to its proper position. Place my breakdown there. Come to my move peg here, F6, and then using my move peg, I can just move it. Okay. Okay, and I can just, pretty sure it'll set keyframes, and yeah, it will. But I want to make make sure that I'm keying everything. So F6, make sure you're hitting F6 so that you're keying everything. We should have keyframes on all of our stuff, so make sure that everything is keyed. Okay, and then you can go back and you can sort of tweak that a little bit later if you choose that you want to do that. So make sure your squash and stretch peg has keys on it as well. Okay. Okay, so oop. I think I might have gotten an email. Okay, so we're here. Our next breakdown, F6. Okay, so we're going to be a bit there, and really pay attention to those arcs. Those arcs are like super important. Okay, so we have a contact position, so contact. Some people might choose to do a little squash here. And you know what, like, why not? Let's have a little fun with it. Little squash. Right. Little squash. That it wouldn't be out of line to have a squash frame. Okay, and then we're going to come down here. So, and then we hit up, down. Okay. So let's have a look at this now. All right. Yeah, pretty good. Okay. Now, like, this is all, you know, because my drawings were so close together, I didn't have to do any tweening here because I wanted a drawing on every other frame in, you know, over here. But I put my breakdowns in. Either way, I put my breakdowns in. Okay. But my breakdowns put everything on 2s anyways, so I'm pretty much automatically working on 2s. So, but now we need some in-betweens here, but we'll use you know, tweening. And in fact, I'm not gonna use tweening here actually, because I want to put my breakdown on thirds. So, because I'm afraid, like, well, let's just see what happens. Sorry, tween this. You know. And then I can use a click and drag. So I mean, yeah, that'll work. So I'll use tweening, that's fine. My breakdown's been set on thirds anyways. Okay, so that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll tween from here to here by hitting Control K, and then I'll tween from here to here by hitting Control K. And you can see that it's trying to do its best job in here. I don't really like how it's interpolating this because it's starting to squash the ball, so I'm going to have to fix that. And we will. So like we can come in from here and we can say SS peg, and we'll say 1 and 1 to make sure that it's not, you know, and then we'll actually adjust this. Okay, and then I'll squash and stretch it how I want to squash and stretch it. Okay, and the nice thing about the where we put the pivot down here is I can rotate the ball just like this. Okay, so I just want to give the software a little bit of help. Okay. Okay, and then so that's like that. Okay, so we have that breakdown set, and then I'm going to use the click and drag method over here just, I'll click and drag from this way to this way. I want to drag toward my breakdown, not away from it. So I'm going to find half. Remember, find half, and I'll just favor this way, and just create that. So that'll create a nice ease. Okay, so, alright. Yeah, very good. Okay, and then all of these, you know, we're going to have these on 2s anyways, so we don't really have to do anything. We don't have to put these, we don't have to tween these, okay? So we won't. But I do want to have, on 1s, this is problematic because we need to have a smear drawing. So actually, I want to control my 1s here by taking my move peg, and I'm going to say F6. We'll just I just want to make sure that everything is keyed. So everything is keyed. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to place a keyframe here, and then I'm actually going to go to just make sure I'm on my move peg. I'll move this down. Okay. And then squash and stretch peg. I'm going to use this to create a nice smear. And rotate this. And maybe I won't be so crazy with the smear. Just switching between my move and squash and stretch peg now that I have those 2 keys set. So okay, very good. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this smear drawing, and I'm actually just going to copy it to the other side. So I can take this, Control C, Control V, and then using my squash and stretch peg, I can just rotate from that pivot like this. So smear and then up. So yeah, really nice. That lovely weight. And that's the trick. You put things on 1s like that with a nice little smear that isn't an in-between, and you really create a nice texture. Okay, so from here to here, and then, you know, it might have something on 1s from here to here, but I want to be able to control that. I'm not going to use tweening, so I'm just going to say F6, and then I'll move this down here because the spacing is quite wide. So I think the texture will be nicer. Yeah, the texture is going to be a lot nicer here. So we'll watch this again. So there's going to be some aesthetic choices in terms of what we put on 1s and what we don't. Let's come to the end, and let's get this in-betweening going. So the way we're going to ease out of this is we'll use the click and drag method. So we are on 2s. We're going to make sure that we're on 2s because this is going to be quite a click and drag job, let me tell you. Oh boy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we are in 2s. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this frame, and we'll just say Control K to spline this. And we'll just see, or spline it, I say spline, coming from the 3D background. So I'm just going to hit play. Okay, so it's doing a linear slowdown. Okay, so, well, it's not even slowing down. It's just doing a linear movement. So there's no ease on that. So let's create an ease, and we'll do it on halves. So we're gonna find half. So what's half? I think half is here. So we'll find half, click and drag. Find half, click and drag. half, click and drag. Find half, click and drag. And I don't know that halves is going to work. It might be that we have to use different spacing to create a more gradual ease out. It may be that we drag from thirds or quarters to make it more gradual, but we'll have to see how it looks. And we can go back and redo it if we want. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, so it takes off quite fast. Okay. So we have a moment here where the ball kind of takes off. So we'll just go back and let's see what happens if we start dragging from, let's say, thirds. So we'll find thirds. Roughly that. Up there. And I may redo this one. And sometimes and if you already come to thirds and you have to favor, you can just favor one to the side like that. So yeah, okay, so there we go. So thirds really helped me out there. So you can see how it really changed the timing of how the ball just slowed down to a better ease. And what I was doing, again, I didn't start from halfway. I started dragging from about thirds. So it was about here that I started dragging. So, you know, between this key and this key, I didn't say, well, I'm going to start dragging from halves. I took this key and this key and I went over to about a third, 1/3, and I dragged that over. Okay, found a nut, the next third, dragged that over, and so on and so forth. And what that did was it compressed time in such a way that it eased my ball out of that last position in a better, with a sort of a more easy, nice cushion. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. Alright, so now let's go in and let's take all of these off of, we don't want to spline these anymore because we want our ball to have that nice consistent texture on twos, most of it on twos, and then fast movements on ones. So I'll say anything that's tweened, I think I keep saying spline, sorry about that. So anything that's tweened, I'm going to say Control L to take that off its tweening. Okay, grab all this stuff, Control L. And now let's look at our lovely, yeah, great. Love it. Love it. So I'm quite happy with that. Okay. And we'll turn off our animation layer. We'll just play just our ball. Okay. Yeah, nice. Okay. And, you know, you can have your shadow follow along too. So can take our ground shadow master peg, okay, and I'll just move this into place. So So actually, I'm going to use my ground shadow move peg, and I'll key that, and I just want to see where that first position is. So that's where that first position is. So I'll come in and just say, make this bigger. Move peg. So ground shadow. Oh, let's place that there. Okay. And then, I mean, really, like, we could just do straight ahead if we wanted to. So here, here. So I'll move this here. And there's only one peg, so I don't have to worry about keying everything. But you know, if you want, you can just hit F6. Move the ball here. And I'm gonna make the ball have a bit of a, have the shadow have a little bit of a, so it'll increase in size as it comes down. Okay. Okay. And then back up. Ah, I know what's going on here. I need to extend my frames. Somehow my frames didn't get extended, so I have the ball coming this way. Make it a bit smaller. It doesn't have to get too much bigger as it goes up. Right? Size variance. We won't get crazy with size variance. We'll just scoot the shadow along. Have the shadow just do its thing, follow along. Okay, we're just gonna do a straight ahead method here. Okay. Oops, what did I do here? This needs to be here. Okay. And, you know, the shadow's not going to bend up the wall, so we're not going to worry about it doing that. Although that'd be a pretty cool effect, if I say so myself. Okay. Just like this. Most of the attention of the audience is going to be directed right at the ball, so, you know, you don't have to worry too much about what's happening here. So, okay, so I think that's our last key, and we need to set a tween. So I mean, like, really, I don't know that I'm going to bother tweening and doing the click and drag method, because we can just use, it's fine for us to just use the spacing of the ball, the center point of the ball, to get that to work for us. It's good to have a center point as a marker. Increments. There we go. And there we go. Got our ball. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to export this. I've set my frame range to stop at 73, so let me just... Okay, so file, and you know, we'll do another save. Why not? Okay. So file, export movie. So we want a movie, and you know, I can call this Brad McLeod Ball 2 if I want. Okay, and I'm gonna set my frame range to 74, I believe it was, and 960 by 540, and that should be fine. Okay, and here we are. Go to my BB assignment, and here's my second. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Okay. There you go. So we've had a nice time setting up a ball, rigging the ball, animating the ball, doing 2 types of animation scenarios. Nice job. Ta-ta for now.